All right, here's my review of Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So, firstly, let's talk about the actual title Rich Dad Poor Dad, polarizing already. And the subtitle is What the Rich Teach Their Kids About Money That the Poor and Middle Class Do Not. All right, so from a sales marketing perspective, this is a sick, insane title. So, for me, the most important line in this book is rich people acquire assets, the poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. He goes on to define an asset and a liability. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Okay, so like most people think their house is an asset, and financial professionals will tell you that it's an asset. However, if you just own your own home and you're paying your mortgage and it's, $3,000 a month, that is costing you $3,000 a month. And over time, theoretically, it might go up in value, but many people have seen that their home has stayed the same or not gone up in value, depending on when you buy it, how long you hold it for, all these factors. However, the core fundamental concept is if it takes money out of your pocket, it's a liability. If it puts money into your pocket, it's an asset. All right. So if you bought some real estate with a little bit of money down and you rent it out for more than the mortgage costs you every month, that is an asset. And at the end of that chapter, he even hammers it down even harder. He says, a simple observation, the rich buy assets, the poor only have expenses, and the middle class buys liabilities that they think are assets. Then he explains that assets fall into several categories, such as 1. Businesses that do not require my presence. I own them, but they're managed or run by other people. If I have to work there, it's not a business, it becomes my job. 2. Stocks. 3. Bonds. 4. Mutual funds. 5. Income-generating real estate, which that is a topic he references quite a bit, and he always loops back to it because he made a lot of money in real estate. 6. Notes, IOUs. 7. Royalties from intellectual property such as music, scripts, patents. 8. Anything else that has value, produces income, or appreciates and has a ready market. Then he goes on to talk about corporations and taxes. He says, employees work, pay their taxes, and then they spend what's left over. Business owners and people that own corporations and invest in real estate and so on and so forth, they earn, they spend pre-taxable income, and then they pay taxes on what's left over. So this is a massive, huge advantage because the average person's biggest expense is actually the taxes that get jacked out of their paycheck before they even get their own money. The next chapter, he talks about how the rich invent money. He uses a lot of example of, finding depreciated value real estate. Say a house is $100,000 and you offer $75,000 for it. You instantly made $25,000 going in on the contract. He talks a lot about real estate, like I said. One thing, this book was written in, I think, 1997, so it's quite old already. One thing I wish that was included in this book, maybe it's, a little bit too, before the time, he talks a lot about buying assets. He never really says creating assets too much, all right? Today's business environment for entrepreneurs, I think if this was written today, it would really focus on creating assets such as digital businesses, digital products and services, which can be scaled upon. Another great book on business and making money, which I think is one of the best, if not the best, business books of all time, is Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco, which I will review. Maybe I'll link to it if I've reviewed it by the time you're watching this. But I would say Rich Dad Poor Dad is excellent framework for the average person that is an employee and wants to learn how to make the jump to being an employer, being a business owner, being someone who starts creating assets rather than acquiring liabilities. Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great place to start if you're getting into business, entrepreneurship, making money. And I think Millionaire Fastlane is like a much more modern, updated Bible of business and entrepreneurship that you must read also. And in just browsing through this book to do this review, I forgot completely at the end of this book, he talks about beginnings, getting started, and overcoming obstacles. This is great stuff. He says that 5 reasons people don't get started: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. And he goes into, each one and how to get over it. This is super important because information, I'm someone who coaches people. Information is never enough. People need to overcome, their inhibitions and the things that are holding them back. And it's always these type of things, these subtle things that people don't want to talk about, but it's really, the actual obstacles. So I'm really excited that he put this in there. It makes the book 100 times better, than just asset liability and all the things that it's really known for. I think these ending chapters are actually really practical and really powerful. Then the following chapter at the end, he gives you 10 steps to getting started, all right? And I'm not going to go over all of them, but One, I need a reason greater than reality. If you do not have a strong reason, there's no sense in reading further. It's all going to sound like too much work. Number two, I choose daily, the power of choice. That's the main reason people want to live in a free country. We want the power to choose. Financially, every dollar in our hands, we hold the power to choose our future, to be rich, poor, or middle class. Our spending habits reflect who we are. Poor people simply have poor spending habits. I mean, he goes on and on with these are basically 10 steps. And and at the end, he upsells his Gain Cash Flow Quadrant, I think it's called, or Cash Flow. So, yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I consider it a must-read. It's the #1 best-selling personal finance book of all time, I believe. I could be wrong, but I know it's been on the list since it came out, and it's now, 25 years ago or something? So pick it up, check it out. And if you are interested in mentorship or coaching or, starting to acquire assets and liabilities and all these things, I offer what I call the Steve Wolf Mentorship, where we sit down on a phone call, I go over your goals and, what you're looking to achieve in your life, and then I give you actually daily accountability and motivation. We could do through email, or we could do texting, or we could even do a quick phone call every day for, just a very quick phone call, and we keep you on track. So we find out what your goals are on that phone call, and we set up an action plan, daily actions, weekly actions, things that have to be getting done so you're working towards your goals and the lifestyle that you want to achieve. And yeah, the mentorship, I just keep you motivated, keep you, going strong, keep you accountable, which is the most important part, because you can't be accountable to yourself. You got to be accountable to someone else. So that's why it's powerful. If you want, go to modernalpha.com/mentorship. Check it out. And if not, that's perfectly fine. Either way, I hope you like my review. Hope you check out Rich Dad Poor Dad. And if you want more content like this, click subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you know when new videos are coming out. And please leave me any comments, throw any questions or any feedback in the comment section, and I will reply. All right? Thanks a lot. See you soon.